Why do we work hard to solve small problems? Why do we reinvent ourselves and our clients over and over? And why are we giving away marketing strategy for free? It's time to bring home bigger paychecks. It's time to create the lifestyle we deserve and to make a greater impact. This is the Fractional CMO Show, and I'm Casey Stanton. Join me as we explore this growing industry and learn to solve bigger problems. Hey there, I want to talk to you about punching up. And this is a problem that nearly everyone faces in business. If you're an agency owner, or if you're a marketing consultant, or if you're working full-time inside of a company as a marketer, and maybe you're bringing on some clients that are outside of work, and you're moonlighting a little bit, bringing in some extra money. And no matter where you are, you want to, have a life of more abundance. You want more in your life, right? You want more impact. You want to make more money. You want to be working and solving bigger problems because it's fun. No matter where you are, if you have this mentality that you want to grow in your career, you got to punch up. And punching up is this notion that you're probably working with clients that are too small to satisfy your needs. And you might have got these clients because they fell into your lap, because you got a buddy and your buddy was like, hey, this person does marketing. And, kind of overnight you had a small pipeline and you closed the business. And for one client, you're doing PPC. And for the other client, you do a little web building stuff. And for the other client, you're doing, some strategy stuff. And you're kind of all across the board because you're serving the individual client and not serving yourself. You haven't clarified kind of what you want. And let me tell you, as you define what you want out of life, it's a simple mathematical equation on how to get there. If you say, I want to bring in $20,000 a month as a fractional CMO, well, you probably can't work with clients that pay you $1 or $2 grand a month. It just won't work out. So you got to punch up. So what could that look like? Let's say you're working with dental practices. You want to punch up? You got to punch up and go work with DSOs. It's the same thing, but it's different. A dental practice is maybe a single doctor-owned practice. Maybe there's only one chair, one doctor there. You could go and say, I want to go find 5 more dental practices just like this. You could do that. Or you could go find a dental service organization that acquires dental practices and takes over the management and kind of like all of the stuff except for the actual dental work. That's called the DSO. They're typically private equity backed, and they roll up dental practices into a parent organization, and they get the benefits that exist when you own multiples of the same thing. They have some bargaining power on getting equipment at discounted rates. They can streamline their marketing, their technology, etc. So instead of saying, how do I get 1 more dental practice or 2 more dental practices, say, how do I punch up to the next level and go get a DSO that has 50 dental practices? Let's say you work in another medical space. Let's say you work in like lipo and aesthetics. Maybe the facility that you're working with has 1 location, but you could go sell another facility that has 5 locations, or they're across 3 states. You could go do that. Maybe you're in the SaaS space. You're a fractional CMO or marketing consultant in the SaaS space. You love it. It's a fun space. Hey, I think it's a great space, right? Fast growing, MRR, really great stuff that happens in SaaS. Typically low cost to service the client because it's tech. So you're there, you're servicing a couple clients, you're loving it, you love the people, you love the work, but you want to punch up the next level. Well, punching up might look like going to a VC that has a couple private equity companies, that has a couple SaaS companies in their portfolio. And with that VC, you could go service the VC and then they could, make the introductions and get you on more companies. You can do that. That's kind of punching up. But really punching up is going to a company that's 10 times the size of the one that you're serving right now. Let's say the one you're serving right now is $1 million a year. Go get a $10 million a year client and see what happens. You can increase your rates, and you should, because you're going to be solving bigger problems for them, and you should be rewarded for that. You're going to have to focus. Those problems are going to be harder to solve, but if you're anything like, me or the other listeners or our fractional CMOs over at CMOX, you love a tough problem. You love kind of wrapping your mind around it, walking around a tough problem and then cracking it. And then, telling people what needs to get done in order to hit some kind of outcome. Super fun, super exciting. So I want you to think, where can you punch up? Do you punch up in the clients that you have right now? Are you kind of a lower ranked person in marketing? Can you punch up and say, okay, there is no CMO, but I am the lead marketer. I want to punch up and become the CMO. That's awesome. Do that. Maybe you're saying, I'm already serving companies right now as a marketing consultant, and the contracts are short-lived. They're 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. I want to punch up. I want to punch up and get year-long contracts. Awesome. That makes a lot of sense, right? For your financial position, for the simplicity of the business. Okay, cool. So go do it. How do you get a company to pay you longer term? Well, you have to be more useful. How do you become more useful? Well, a fractional CMO can do that. That's one of the things that we teach inside of the CMOX Accelerator. So I just want you to consider what you need to do in order to punch up to the next level. Yeah, it's scary. If you're used to selling companies that are in the $1 million space, and now you feel like, oh shoot, Casey's pressuring me. He's encouraging me to go punch up and go close companies 10 million, 20 million, 50 million a year. Maybe you feel scared. Maybe you feel like you can't do it. Let me just tell you that the problems tend to not get more complex. I mean, there are more moving pieces the larger the organization, sure. But really, you can solve it. It's just that the downstream effects of a bad solution really can hurt an organization. You have more responsibility when you solve problems for a bigger company. If you work for a franchise, if you're the CMO of a franchise, and you make one decision, it has the effect of changing, potentially, a lot of things for every single franchisee. That's a big deal. It's very different than changing it for one business. If you change it for one business versus 100, 200, 300 franchisees, obviously the downstream effects for the franchisees is much greater. As a result, you should be compensated to protect your time so that you can really think through all those possible outcomes. So I'm not going to say it's easy to solve big problems, but it's rewarding. This is where you stay sharp. This is where you build notoriety. So if you're currently serving clients that are under 10 million a year, you got to punch up. Bar none, you have to punch up. You got to go to the next level. When? How? That's your decision to make. But you got to do it. I'm here telling you that someone else will come in because you're at the bottom of the market. You got to get to mid-market. You're at the bottom of the market. So someone new to the space is saying, hey, I can do that. I can go work with that kind of company. I see this all the time too with really talented marketing people who might even have a big title like SVP marketing or even CMO of a large company, of a 9-figure company, right? 10-figure company. They could be the CMO. Then they leave that post and then they're like, okay, well, I'm going to go help $1 million a year startups. I mean, it's silly. It's like they don't believe in their own abilities. The smaller the company is, the more risk averse they can be. That risk aversion tends to be centered around money. They don't have the budget to test things. When you find a larger company, they're less risk averse for spends. You can go get an authorization to spend $5,000 here, $10,000 there, $20,000 there. And you know just how powerful it can be if you can spend money to solve problems. It's incredible. So I want to encourage you to just consider what clients you serve now, how big they are, and then what the next level up is. How do you punch up to the next level? Just consider that. What are those companies? If you want help, if you want support in punching up, I want to encourage you to reach out to my team and let's schedule a call to see if we can help you. We're currently looking for 3 marketers, marketing consultants, or agency owners who want to punch up and become in-demand fractional chief marketing officers. If that's you, come see if you have what it takes at cmox.co/invite. That's cmox.co/invite. Talk to you soon.
Thank you for joining us for today's show.
For more information and episodes, visit our site at fractionalcmoshow.com. Go ahead and punch that like and subscribe button on your favorite podcast app. It means a lot, at least to my mom.